Recording business. What we want to do here real quick, you didn't really get to see in the last video. I'm going to delete the app. One thing that's really important when it comes to apps like this and getting approved in the App Store is making sure that you have your permissions, files, and properties set up properly. So I have this app that I got from the App Store. It's called Asset Catalog Creator. You can literally go into the Mac App Store, command space App Store, and then you can search up Asset Catalog Creator. And what's cool about this app is I can simply go over to my downloads here, monthly, and monthly it's going to be $9.99. I think that's a nice comfy price. And then our product continue on to milestone 2, conversation creation and persistence. Okay, and this is basically making sure that we keep track of conversations and transcripts. Hi, welcome to part 4 of this series where we take an idea or a concept of an application and bring it all the way to production with landing page, security page, getting approved on the App Store, getting payment system done, et cetera, et cetera. In this video, we're primarily focused on everything around the payment and making sure we're setting a decent price, as well as just like systematically how to set up payments. And of course, we're going to continue to use AI in order to do majority of the heavy lifting. But we will at least take brief looks at certain things, and there are certain files that we have to create inside the project. So just before we get started, I'm going to give you an outline of like what we're planning to cover here. I kind of have some North Star items for us. So the number one thing is we're going to create a Revenue Cat account. The Revenue Cat account is typically, it's the equivalent to Stripe. If you have been developing web applications, you're familiar with the Stripe payment system, as well as maybe some other payment systems. We're going to be using Revenue Cat in order to be able to track how many subscribers we have and how many installs we get and things like that. It has a really nice dashboard, but not just because of that reason. It's also because Apple's store kit is a little bit complicated. So more about that later. So Revenue Cat account is what's needed to be created. We need developer license created. You should have those two things done. And then we need to get back to ChatGPT, our chat that we use to construct the project plan and the product requirements document. We need to go there and we need to do sort of a product, a market analysis. Now, one of the previous videos, I already did that particular request. We'll review what it gave us and then ask additional questions. And our goal is to make sure that we find out maybe a estimate of how much the APIs for our AI is going to cost. So per request, that way we can try to get an accurate reading on what the best price structure might be for actually doing this application. So, it may cause us to have to think about adding a token system or a credit system so that they would pay per usage kind of deal. But we'll check that out as it comes. So the other thing on the agenda is product and project creation. So we have to create these particular products to align with our Apple developer account to make sure that the subscriptions are aligned between Revenue Cat and our Apple developer account. that will allow analytics and any other data about users subscribing to work both ways and just for it to work in general. This is the thing that makes our payment system actually work, and it'll allow us to make things testable as well. So the other thing is we'll make sure that we start setting proper versions of our app. We want to get into a habit of looking at your application in a way of like, there are different versions of the app and you're updating the versions as you add more features. So judging by where we're at currently in the app, we're probably sitting at instead of a 1.0 version, we're probably more like at a 0.4, version. And that determines like where we're at right now. It also, you'll see a little bit more about that, but it also helps us with creating these test builds, these test flight builds that are going to go to your app and your phone, and you can just test them, or you can send them to other people you want to test with. So pushing up a project, that's another thing. We haven't gone over it yet, but what we're going to need to do before we get anything else done in terms of like linking these accounts and these products and stuff, we need to be able to push up our project to Apple servers in your account. That way you can create these test flight builds. That way you can properly submit your application to the App Store for a review. And that basically allows us to start working on all the other things. Eventually we'll be working on trying to figure out some like basic search engine optimization with our app, being able to make sure that we write a accurate description, one that's maybe attractive and people will find via searching, stuff like that. So this video is really crucial. I think every video is pretty crucial, but I'll make sure to look at cutting out any like long pauses or anything like that. Sometimes there might be moments of reading and stuff like that. So unlike my other videos where, anything programming or prompt related, like I just completely unscripted. This time we just at least have some like milestone bullet points that I have set up for us. And it's another thing that I'll put into some kind of document and put out there for people. Speaking of which, in the previous videos, I had created some templates and some prompts that I used in order to kickstart this process of getting our documents ready for Cursor to automatically build our project for us. If you want to support this channel, there's a few ways to do it. One is to go and buy that. I have a whole pack of all of the example documents that I use. And they're not just a cash grab, because I spent my time, and energy over last year and before that to compile these templates that can be used for yourself and your own projects. And so it's only like $13-14. I know times are rough, but if you want to make the process easier for yourself, you can go there and support the channel by buying those. The other thing is, the other way to support the channel is definitely just to like and maybe do a comment. A simple comment, just thanks, lets me know I'm doing something right. Or if you'd like to see something, you want to give some feedback on like how things are going, feel free to comment as well. Just let me know like what could make these tutorials better. The only thing that is sort of a non-negotiable for me, since I'm already a successful engineer, is the overall format of how I do these videos. It's much easier for me to do things not scripted because that's just who I am. I'm just pretending that you're my friend and I'm just helping you build a product. Or I'm walking you through, for this series, I'm walking you through a product that I felt like building. So, but in terms of like what's missing, maybe you wished that I went deeper into a certain topic. Those things, absolutely. Give me feedback so I know that I should make a quick video for that, or I should, start including that in the next few, building videos. So anyway, without further ado, that was a long intro. Thanks for coming on this ride, on this journey. Let's see how this is. I hope you learn a lot from this process, and I learn a lot every time I go through it. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go make my coffee, and we'll get this thing started. All right. All right. So welcome back. What we're going to do is, get started with this. We'll pick right up where we left off. I've got my coffee here. I hope you have something warm to drink, or anything that's nice to drink that's cozy. And we can continue getting this product ready for production. So where did we leave off? Last time we decided to get sort of a market analysis going for our product. And so what we're going to do here is go back, and I told it to give me a recap on that market deep research that I had to do. I was curious about, where our app fits in the market. And so this is a good time to do this because we want to try to decide on how we're going to set our pricing for our app. So let's take a look here at what it's got. Also, I opened up my app that I built, Engineering Box. And I have some items that I'll be using this to kind of keep sort of a time boxing counter on myself. One thing, yes, I'm glad I pulled this up. So what you've got to do, if you haven't done it already, if you're in the process of building an app like this, then you've got to make sure to get your RevenueCat account generated or created. You can do that by simply going to revenuecat.com, and then you can just sign up and walk through the process there. I've already got an account, so I'm able to take a look at things like this. I have a nice dashboard, and I can see, how many subscribers I have, how many active customers, things like that, just like I'd probably just mentioned in the intro. You can select your other apps and see what's going on there. These are just a few unreleased products here. But yeah, so you want to make sure that RevenueCat is your RevenueCat account is created, and we'll come back to RevenueCat in a bit. And you also want to make sure that your developer account is created. And to create an Apple developer account, you just go to developer.apple.com, and then you can simply go to account and sign up from here. I, of course, already have an account, so I'm able to sign in and, go to my apps. I can check out my app analytics. I can see, anything I need to in terms of my apps I can manage from here. And we'll get back to this too, because I want to go over some test flight things with you. Make sure you know how to create builds that if you have, let's say you're working with a team or another person, you want to be able to add them, and you want to be able to get them a build without them having to plug up their phone into your computer and all that stuff. They should just be able to get access to your app via test flight. So we'll end up going over that too. Anyway, back to our analysis. So I'm going to complete this. I'm going to set a little timer here and make sure that I get through this. I may cut some of this away. I'm sort of reading through this to see what ChatGPT's like deep research was for our app. So it's talking about traction, risk, and real value, market traction, why this app makes sense, the big picture. It's worth noting before I get into this, what was the original prompt I made? Let me scroll up to that original prompt for you. Okay. I kind of liked the breakdown I gave earlier. But I basically just said, please do some deep research into potential market, I said strategy and value for this app. Luckily, it just knew what I was talking about. Market traction. Okay, tailwinds are real. The online digital language learning market is large and growing. Multiple industry estimate put it in the tens of billions. Okay, that's nice. None of that, of course, matters if we can't market it. So, which isn't necessarily a huge part of this. We're focused more on like the building a pristine product, but some of this does matter. So I do want to get into this. Language learning apps specifically are also projected to grow fast. Okay. Let's get over here to where your app has compelling wedge. Okay. So your concept is different. That's good to know. It targets language learning from your life. That was kind of the key there, because I took this from an experience of my own where I have several times picked up like Duolingo or just gone on YouTube and tried to start learning Japanese. It takes a lot of dedication. There's no real like passive way to learn a language like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some ways, but nothing easy that I found. So that's where this idea kind of came from. So users don't need to invent practice prompts. Yes. Yeah. Because they're just taking them from this is just a bunch of stuff we already know. So that's why we came up with the idea. Competitive landscape. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Direct-ish competitors, AI speaking plus feedback. Speak focuses on getting users speaking out loud. Yeah. It's commonly positioned as conversational first. Okay. All right, I'm seeing some apps out there, $20 an hour or $99 an hour for App Store. Varies for different regions. TalkPal, a similar ChatGPT wrapper tutorial. Okay, so I'm just seeing like there's like 60 to 120 per year type of applications. There is a $10 to $20 a month premium speaking AI experience. Okay, this is good information. This is nice to keep in the back of the pocket. Feature creep versus must have. Yeah, this is one thing I'm always worried about. I've already mentioned trying to stay close to the MVP, the minimum viable product. And so what it's saying is word sentence frequency plus translation plus TTS. I'm not sure what that is. That's clean. Okay, it thinks that that's a good MVP. If you chase grammar correction, pitch, accent, yeah, I see what you're saying. We can get way off into the weeds when it comes to the app and like, trying to make it more pristine and everything like that. I'm interested in that only if we prove that the demand is there for the product. So, which, you know, better advice, I'd be remiss for not giving you good advice on that part. You obviously want to do a lot of that research up front before we even get to this point. So you want to find out that, you know, the product that you want to build has a demand. So this series is definitely for a person who has already decided that it's worth building. So let's make sure that that's clear. Okay, this is good. I think the key piece that I just want to know was kind of what the landscape was, what the common costs were. I think in general, it seems like my early thoughts were correct. We're looking at like, you know, 10 to 20 bucks a month. I'm probably looking at making a $15 a month type of plan. And it's on the more expensive side because it's sort of expected when it comes to like language learning. If it's effective, like if it's something like really effective, I would expect it to be that cost. And that sounds about right for me too. So it's just a good start. You can always change things later. So finally, the last thing I want to double check before we kind of finalize a price. So I'm going to say before we come to, actually, you know what? Let's find out what ChatGPT thinks a good price might be based on our research. So based on our research, potential cost of API to translate our transcribed sentences what do you think is a good approach for our subscription cost for our version 1 MVP? Okay, let's see what we got here. Cost to reality. What you're actually paying. Likely API in V1, speech to text, Apple speech on device, cost $0. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I was expecting this. Yeah, the transcription piece, $0. Translation though, I don't know if I was expecting that to be $0. Let me see. Rough order, magnitude, estimates, average conversation 3 to 5 minutes, transcript 300 to 800 words. You only translate top words, top sentences. Yeah, with batch caching. Per conversation, AI cost realistically be kept in the range of, okay, potentially 1 to 5 cents per conversation. Not too bad. It's a little less than I thought. Even if a power user does 2 conversations a day, 60 conversations a month, worst case variable cost is going to be, okay, 60 cents to $3 per heavy monthly user. Okay. That's a cost I'm willing to eat out of 15, especially in the beginning where we want to make sure that, you know, things are going well. for users. And then if we need to increase or start implementing a credit system or a pay-per usage system, then I think that that's totally reasonable as well. So this is great. Great information. Free tier evaluation. We probably won't do a free tier for this particular app. Pro plan. Okay. We'll just see how easy it is and what the demand is like, since we didn't do that research up front. What I would explicitly not do in V1, usage-based pricing. Okay, so it's saying specifically don't do usage-based pricing. Tokens are credits, multiple paid tiers, don't do it. Yeah, I agree. Blocking translation entirely in a free. That makes total sense to me. So that's pretty good. That's good validation there. Okay. Awesome. So now we kind of have our price. It's saying $9.99. I think that that's good. I'm willing to start there. So our market analysis is effectively done. I can hit stop on that. Put that in our completed section there. Awesome. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Next, I want to go ahead and we haven't pushed our project up. So what we need to do is prep and push our app up to Apple. Okay, and in the description, I'm going to say we need to set version number and connect accounts. Okay, cool. So what we want to do, I think it's always important to think about multitasking as much as you can. So some of this we had to do in a certain order. I mean, honestly, we could have actually continued the project at the same time. But what I will do is I'm going to hit start right here. We will go ahead and let's look at our progress doc so we see how far we are in our process. How far along we are in our milestones. Is this the incorrect? Oh, we're in the wrong app. I was working on another app. There we go. This is familiar. Okay, so we have effectively completed milestone 0 and milestone 1. So we are very far along. What does milestone 2 have in it? Create conversion, domain model. Okay, okay, so this is all about conversion. This is perfect timing. This is perfect timing. Before we actually work on these next few steps, let's get our app up. So let's go to Xcode first. And one of the main things I don't want to forget about is going over here to general. And it may be hard to see, but we are going to set the version number for our application. Yeah, we're going to set the version number for our application to 0.4.5. This is just a guess, you know. We are actually pretty far in the process of like building the app. So I'd say 4.5 is pretty good, pretty strong. Convo IBO. Category is educational, probably. Yeah, education. Okay, and one more thing before we forget about it is going to be when you go to signing and capability, there is a plus sign in the upper left-hand corner. And when you hit this plus sign, you're going to need to add in-app purchases. Oops. Huh. Purchases. Huh. It's not coming up. Let's see. Maybe the name is changed. Huh. I guess it's not even necessary to add it anymore. That used to be a thing. By the way, if you ever get stuck in the middle of the whole payment system, even though we're going through all of the basics of it, there's a great video on YouTube where someone specifically for iOS sets up RevenueCat and a project, and they follow it by the book, and it's a really great video. I've constantly gone back to that video for reference, so I will link that in the description as well. Yeah, so that threw me off, the fact we didn't have to select that. But hey, I'm not mad. Okay, let's go ahead and continue pushing our product up. So right now, if we were to try to push our product up, what we would do is we would go up to the top here and we would, oh cool, it's zooming in for you. So we would go to product and we would go to archive. And although that is a bit misleading, archive is what we use to start pushing up a version of our app to the App Store. Command apostrophe. Okay, so here you'll see the version of our app. This is all getting ready for distribution essentially. Anytime you have a new version of your app that you want to push up, this can be done from the terminal, and you might even be able to get things set up with Cursor to do it for you. But it's important to know how to do it manually, because when all else fails, it's nice to be able to manually push it. So I'm gonna try to push this. I believe it's gonna fail. And the reason why is because I think you need to prep your Apple account for this app to get pushed up. So let's just try it and see if anything's changed. Yeah, nothing's changed. I was hoping that Apple had been really cool and decided to fix that up. But so let's go to Safari. We'll go to our Apple account, and what you need to do is go to not users and access. I find it helpful to just go all the way back, to be honest. I'll type in developer.apple.com just because I never really never really see the option to get back to certifications here. Certifications here in the middle is what you'll end up selecting, and from here you'll be able to go to identifiers, and then you create a new identifier. And this is where you're like prepping to get your application. Like, it's almost like you're prepping a parking spot for your app to like go park. You have to call in ahead of time and say, hey, reserve me this spot. So like, although it just happens live, it's not like we have to wait or anything like that. So we select this, we hit continue, and let's see what we got here. Yes. Okay. So in-app, I want to see if in-app, oh, it must just be deprecated. It's just automatically supported for iOS. Okay. Okay. Well, hey, we're good to go. We don't need to select anything else, then that's fine. Okay, so this is where you want to be really careful. Make sure to set the same bundle ID as what you have in your project right now. So for me, I'll actually select this, not that, because that is the wrong application. It's one of my other apps, File Vault, or Vault Hub. Okay, so it's not easy to select this. You'll notice like trying to copy and paste your bundle identifier from here doesn't work. Not able to do it for some reason. So what you do is in the upper left-hand corner, go up to signing and capabilities, and then you should be able to triple click 3 times real fast, and then Command C will copy that, and then we will head back over, paste it in. And then this is a conversation-based learning app. Cool. An attribute in the provided entity has invalid value. Okay. Wonder what that is. Oh, wait. Let me go back over here. Yeah, no. Oh, that should be good. Is not available, please. Oh. Okay, so I guess this isn't available. So we'll do just so I'd make sure not to spell it incorrectly. Conversation. Okay. Conversation. Good engineer, bad what do you call it, speller. Okay, so we'll try that. Conversation IBO. It's sad because I really like the name Convo IBO. I think it's might be a little catchy. I don't know. There's all preferences all over the place. Doesn't mean that we can't keep our name that, but we will want to make sure that we are matching the bundle identifier. It's very important. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's continue and see if we can register this. Provided entity is invalid value. It's not available. Okay. Now, Conversations, maybe? Okay, so conversations worked. So I guess for some reason that may have been taken. So many conversations. be very careful and make sure that the bundle ID does change. Like is set. Oh, wait. Let's go here. Provisioning doesn't include the current selectable. Oh, it's just talking about my device. Yeah. So what I want to do is solve this problem. Here's an example of like you're trying to get your device working and maybe you don't know what the next steps are. So what I'm going to do is just come over here and say, hey, do you know what I need to do? You could ask ChatGPT as well, but Claude Sonnet, which is the main model, that the default models that are selected for Cursor, is just so good when it comes to programming, analytics, science type data, anything like that. And actually, furthermore, it is getting even better at like UI and all kinds of stuff. So it's just really a lot smarter at a lot of like tech oriented stuff, I've noticed. So don't be afraid to just ask general questions here. Open up a new chat and just, you can also get back to your history by going here, but I'm just going to do this. You know what I need to, hey, do you know what I need to do to get my iPhone access to run with my Xcode project? I'm sure if I sat here long enough, I would remember, but I don't. So I'm going to be super honest. Let's see what it says. Quick fix steps, connect your iPhone, trust, make sure your iPhone's connected. Sure. Device and simulator, press shift 2. Make sure, let's compare, update signing settings. In Xcode, select Combo by project in the navigator. Signing capability, automatically signing is checked, and I believe that is. Register your device, generate a new provisioning profile that includes your device. If automatic signing doesn't work, do a clean build, restart Xcode completely, sign in, sign out. Okay. All right. I'll probably do some editing magic, but I really want to use my Progressivity account because that's where this is going to be, posted anyway. So feel free to ask questions about that too, by the way. What's a personal account versus a company account? I've got 2 company accounts and 1 personal account. And why do I have that? I really only use the 2 accounts, by the way. I kind of converted one of them into a business account. Okay, so let's go over here. What we're gonna do, I'll probably end up doing some editing magic. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna keep in here, but while I'm doing it, I may as well just talk about it. So there's Apple accounts in here. I'm gonna add an account. I'm gonna add my progressivity.co. Oh, it was hello@progressivity.co. And then next. I'll probably have to cut this out. That's fine. There we go. Okay. That's why that didn't work. There we go. Okay, so I just had to sign into my business account. Let's actually try this again and see if I can get this to work. It really doesn't want to. I'm gonna go into settings on my device. And go to general. And then here. I would have thought it would be here, but I guess it's not. Check with your admin. I am the admin. Okay, so one other thing we can do, because it is really important to be able to, you know, I'll edit this out, but before adding new devices, make sure your devices list. Okay, continue. Yes, I acknowledge. Let me go over here, try again. Okay, let's try to add our device. This is going to be main iPhone. We got to get the device UID. Matter of fact, I have another app on my computer called command space configurator. And in Apple configurator, I believe I can find out what my device is. So double click on my iPhone, UID, there it is. So I'll click on that, get that. Very handy app, Apple configurator. It's great if you want to add and remove stuff from your Apple device, like manually. Oh, back in the day when I worked in Apple engineering, I got to use something very similar to that, kind of internally. It's pretty cool. So now that I've got that in, we did some editing magic here, so should be blanking out all that private information, but I just wanted to make sure that you saw at least a little bit how you could troubleshoot the situation. So if your device is having trouble connecting, and now it's working, you know, usually that's kind of the case. One of those two. You've got to either go into Xcode settings and sign into the proper account associated with the app that you're building. Also to make sure that you have access to build to a device. And then if that's not working, then you do like what we did. You go to developer.apple.com and then you go to devices and you add your device there. And that way your account is associated with it. And now we should be able to run the app no problem. Unless, of course, we have errors, which we will find out in a second, which we don't, because last time we built the app in one of our previous videos, we didn't have any errors. So let's see. Yeah, and so this is what our app is looking like right now. Great. Fantastic. And progress. Cool. So milestone 0, milestone 1, we have this recording business. What we want to do here real quick, you didn't really get to see in the last video. I'm going to delete the app One thing that's really important when it comes to apps like this and getting approved in the App Store is making sure that you have your permissions, files, and properties set up properly. So when we run this app fresh for the first time, we see our app like normal. We got the two different areas that we drew up. We crafted this from scratch, right? We have a record section, conversation. If you tap record, we get this lovely message here saying that, hey, we're telling the user, hey, we need access to your microphone, and for this reason. And then we do that again for speech recognition. So we're like, hey, we're gonna actually extract text from your speech, blah, 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 blah. User selects allow, and then they'll be able to use the app. I don't think we have any functionality set up just yet. Yeah, matter of fact, we got a crash here. So that's fine. I'm not expecting it to work right now, so that's why I don't particularly care about the crash. Let's put this back over here. Yeah, so we're smooth sailing. Let's reset. Let me check my time box app. So yeah, our goal is to progress this here. We need to push our project up to the App Store. Yeah, so we had like a slight sidetrack, but the goal was for us to add a new identifier, which is the new app, and it is conversation-based learning app. It's right here. And so now if we go to developer.apple.com, we go to our apps account and then apps, and then we should be able to, taking a while to load here. We should be able to add our new app here. Convo. I'm still going to stick to the name until I find out that it's completely taken. Convo IBO. And then English for now. Bundle identifier. We get to go look for our conversation-based learning app. And then the SKU is just going to be Convo IBO. There might be something specific here. Let me double check that. I'll do some editing magic there too. Let's see what we're supposed to put there. I always forget about that. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it looks like that's it. This is specifically just going to be an iOS app. We may make it iPad compatible. It should be right off the bat anyway. We will limit the access to this app to just a few people on my team. I do have like friends and buddies that, thankfully they like to test some of my stuff. Like they've tested my games in the past and stuff. So once again, we'll talk about that. It may be in another video, might be in our next video, which is going to be kind of like testing and user stories and stuff. But okay, so now we have our app here, and let's try to start lining up our description with what version we have, like where we're saying that it's going to be. So right here in this first area, I clicked on that. Down here under version, we're going to do 0.4.5. That's where it's kind of a rough guesstimate. That number is very personal per team out there. And you'll see me increment that number. And then we decide kind of from there, you can basically learn from how I do it and just make your decision on how you want to continue to do this. So we're going to eventually get to subscriptions and stuff like that. But we have our account. We're about to run out of time in our little timer app here, the time boxing. But this was perfect. 30 minutes was a great estimate for this to get all this done. So let me go. It may not be 30 minutes for you, but because of editing, but we'll see. Okay, so now our app is here, and now we should be able to successfully push this up. So let's go back to Xcode. Let's go over here, and we'll go to, we'll just leave this on general for a second. Once again, we go up to the upper left-hand corner up at the top. We go to Product, Archive. And when we hit Archive, this is our chance to push up our application. And we can hit Distribute. And what you want to do is distribute for App Store, because our ultimate goal is to distribute to the App Store. But you see these other options here. Maybe you just want to do a test flight internal, or you are preparing this to be an enterprise application. So we'll hit Distribute here. And given that this succeeds, we are done. So I'm gonna hit the stop button here. This is the point that I was trying to get to, and we made it literally just in time, just on time. So I'm gonna complete that. And this Engineer Box app that I made for iOS and macOS, iPhone and your Mac, is really just like something I made for myself for like work mainly. And sometimes I use it for my personal projects like this, where I only have so much time outside of my software engineering career to like do things. So, you know, being able to like set like a time box that's just very specific for me is really important. Later on, I'll probably add some features, like maybe some AI features that allow me to summarize some of the things I've done in the past. So we got some failures here. What are failures? We don't have an icon yet. Believe it or not, it will not allow you to upload your app until you have an icon. So a couple of tips here. There's an app that you can go off and buy. There is an app in the App Store. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. This is just what I like to use. There's a couple here. I've got Screenshot Creator, Asset Catalog Creator, and these work perfectly fine to get yourself across the line. Maybe I'll make a icon creator app or something like that. Let's do that really quick. You do need all these different sizes. So you'll see inside of the Xcode project, you go over to Assets and Icon, and then you have all these sizes that you need to get going. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go to ChatGPT for that. And what we're gonna do is say, so obviously when you're developing a professional application, for your MVP, you may have ChatGPT create your first iteration of the app icon. Later, of course, you might want to go to like Fiverr, find someone who's done hundreds and thousands of icons before, give them what you currently have, and pay a professional to actually go in there and actually do a really nice icon for you. I think it's a great pattern. I've done it in the past for my own stuff. For Engineer Box, for example, for Engineer Box, I created, here we go. I actually got a professional to create this icon for me. I gave them some specific information. I had some other, they even gave me some good design iterations as well, which is great. I had to debate which ones I was going to go with. But yeah, I needed to get something way more professional than what I had. And I'm really glad that I did, because, I got someone with a lot of experience, and I was able to provide a service out there, provide a job to someone. So just don't forget that you're not just in this alone. And when you're trying to create a professional product, if you're especially if you start to make some money with that product, pay it forward. Money is meant to flow. So just like let it go, like it's supposed to go out and come back in and everything. You want to circulate that. That's what creates jobs and stuff for people. So anyway, that's my little weird rant there. Anyway, now that we've pushed this up, let's go to oh, right, it failed because we need to create yes, stay focused. Now we need to create an app, an iOS app icon. Let's brainstorm 4 ideas, and then I will pick one for you to create. Cool. So we're gonna have ChatGPT come up with 4 designs, and then conceptually. So as you can see, it's text we have to read through, like it's kind of thinking through. And I like to do this because you see here, it says why it works, why it thinks that this kind of icon will work. I find this to be a lot better to collaborate instead of just like asking for it to create an image and then you just do it, Once again, this series is a very realistic deep dive. You're watching this video right now because you consciously decided, instead of sitting and watching a 5 to 20 minute video on you can go off and make an app really quickly, and that's totally fine. It could be successful. It's very possible. But you decided that you wanted to see a really deep dive on like what the possibilities are, what it really takes to create like a real business. And maybe along the way, even if you did only take 20 minutes to create some app, maybe you want to come back and actually refine your application. Maybe it's like actually getting some traction and you want to increase your profits. So anyway, another rant over. So yeah, it gave us some good options. Let's take a look. Instant communication, speech. What's this core idea? Your app reflects how the user actually speaks. Okay, so visual is minimum rounded square background, deep navy, charcoal, center, a speech bubble, split vertically, left side, abstract waveform, right side, clean Japanese kana kanji. Ooh, I kind of like that. Subtle reflection and symmetry, line down the center. Okay, this is a line down the center, wave on one side, kanji on the other. I kind of like that. It avoids some cliches. No red flags, no books, right? Because this isn't that kind of app. This is probably going to be more of a supplementary app for people who are studying the language, to be honest. Scales beautifully to minimum size. I'm liking number 1 already. We'll just briefly graze over the others. Okay, soft gradient background, floating kana characters. I like this. Dark background, small glowing dots. Okay, kana characters. These are all pretty good. Minimal, record plus insight. I do like the inclusion of a record kind of icon. Single, then circular outline around it. Okay, red or coral record dot. Okay, then circular outline around it. Yeah, that indicates that you can press it like it's a record button. Small waves, notch cut into the circle. Okay, extremely readable. Okay. Not gonna lie, I do like that last one too. I do like that last one, but you know what? I want concept one. Let's it's also top recommendation, so you know, we'll see if ChatGPT comes through. So let's go with option 1 or concept 1. Create this icon for us. Cool. All right. I probably should have made a timer here. Create and integrate app icon. It won't take us 30 minutes. We should be done here pretty soon. I like it. That's not bad. Not bad. It's a good start. Can we go a bit more minimal and material design? Simple, that follow Apple's human interface guidelines. Boom. Let's see what it says. Something about this just like is a little bit too indie at the moment. It doesn't like feel very viral, if that makes sense. I don't know. We won't debate too long on this. I'm just showing you kind of like where my brain goes with this stuff. This is good. I don't like this like extra piece right here. But this is looking pretty good. I like this. Can we remove the background? By the way, thank you for watching this. Like, thanks for sticking with this. I know I'm making this for you, and this like, this is obviously my time, but I am trying to build a nice community here of, people who are building real products and, are looking for more deep dive situations. Hopefully we can build a pretty nice community, and this is just the start. I'm going to keep this going and going and going as long as people show up. So, okay. I think I see how this is going to work. I know it doesn't look super obvious, but let's try it out. Like, you see that there's no background here, but notice when we look at we'll integrate it, and then I'll show you what I mean if it works. So I have this app that I got from the App Store. It's called Asset Catalog Creator. You can literally go into the Mac App Store, command space App Store, and then you can search up Asset Catalog Creator. And what's cool about this app is I can simply go over to my downloads here, click and drag this over on top, and then we can select the folder. I save all my stuff in this dev folder. Let me know in the comments below if you want some tips. I can make a short video. I'm always thinking about like, what short videos can I make? There's tons of long videos I'm gonna make, but if you want tips on like organization of your projects and just file organization in general, I have no problem like going in depth with that too. So anyway, Convo IBO, that's where our project is. We need to navigate to the asset folder. I'm going to select that and set it as output directory. Use asset catalog. It put it there. Now, just like magic, we should come over here and see our icon showing up here. Now, the reason why I think that this odd no background thing is about to work, let's take a look. Let's run the app on device, and I will pull it up over here. And let's go back to the home screen. Okay, it's looking really good actually. Now check this out. I'm gonna hit edit up here, and I think it's going to support customization. So if I go like this, it's doing a pretty good job. So if I select maybe dark mode. No, it doesn't. Okay. I got ahead of myself. I thought we were going to support dark mode. Tinted. Tinted works great. Does support different colors? Does support different colors? That's not bad. Not bad. That's good. So this is what I'm talking about right here. Being able to support the different colors and it looking pretty good. I think that this is an absolute win when our icon can dynamically change like this. So yeah, I think that's pretty nice. Now we can continue because what our actual goal here was to do is actually push up our product. So we're gonna go archive, we're gonna push up another version. I'm not concerned about the version number being the same when pushing up again right now because it failed last time. If it succeeded, it will allow you to upload the same version number twice, but it gets confusing. You see this parentheses 1 here, it would change it to parentheses 2 and make it into a second build when you push it up. But I have noticed that sometimes it can create some issues. So try to make sure that your version number is different every time. Every time you upload a successful build. So now we're distributing our app to the App Store, not to the App Store, to your Apple account. We can stop this here because we're done working on the icon for now. Complete. Awesome. Check it out. It actually worked. So now we can go over to our Apple account. We will go to, let's just click on apps here. And then it'll probably take a minute. It'll take a minute. Actually, it won't show up here. You see how it still has no icon here? That is because eventually under builds here, we will need to select our app. So let's keep on going with our stuff, and then we'll come back to this in a bit. So now it's time to start killing multiple birds with one stone. One of the things I want to know is like, how far away are we to working on our payment stuff in terms of development? And then after I find that out, I'll be okay with letting Cursor, our AI agent, continue to work on the project while we go and set up all of the payment structure backend stuff. Because we have to link accounts and stuff like that. There's manual things that you have to do that you can't turn over to AI just yet. Unlike things like Stripe. This is why building a web application is far more simpler than building a device application. But once again, there's give and take to both. So let's find out how long until we're actually working on payment stuff. So let's take a look at the milestones we have left here. We have milestone 4, translation. What was milestone 3? Analysis, tokenized Japanese text, filter, normalize forms, count word frequency. Okay, this is under the hood processing and calculation we need to do for organizing for translation, conversation details. Okay, this is great. It seems like we've put subscription and monetization on the back burner for the most part here, all conversation stuff. But remember, we are the managers. We're the managers for the project, so we get to decide what gets worked on when. So even though this is milestone 7, that doesn't mean that we don't get to, go ahead and get this done a little bit earlier. Milestone 7, subscription, monetization, configure, set up entitlements, sandbox testing, refresh entitlements, expose is pro state to domain, yes. Gate premium features, unlimited history, okay, advanced analysis, okay. So it's all here in milestone 7. So what I want to do right now is go ahead and establish, because I want to make sure to get this video up for everyone. I think what we need to do is continue to communicate with ChatGPT and continue to talk about where we want the payment to show up strategically. And so I think I'm still going to do that today, but I think I'm going to wrap up this portion. So this video, it isn't as long as it needs to be, isn't longer than it needs to be. And that way also people kind of get the next step. And I might just upload both of them on the same day. I'm not doing this for, an extreme amount of views or anything like that. I'm trying to create something super useful for the select few people that actually need this. So yes, it is milestone 7. I'm not going to wait until milestone 7, but I do think that right now the most important thing is us going over to Revenue Cat and getting things set up there, getting our project set up, adding our subscription stuff. I want to show you how to do that stuff on the back end. And then we may not be able to test this stuff until our next video. And I'm going to have our cursor agent skip to this portion of the project, but we need to refine this. Because here's the thing, before I go to the back end stuff, we need to make sure that the payment, our paywall, is showing up exactly where we think strategically it should. So in my eyes, for this type of app, it's probably going to be the onboarding screen where it's going to show up the first time. And so in order to do that, we also kind of have to ask the question, what does it look like for this app to have an onboarding? What is the onboarding supposed to accomplish? It's really meant to tell the user, how to use the app, right? We want to tell them the app is meant to be used in this way. You need to be able to record, blah, blah, blah. In order to get the translation feature, you need to be a pro member. You need to sign up. And so, and that way we protect the experience and keep the user from easily skipping. And we might even put like a timer thing, like a small quick timer that keeps the user from going forward, because we need them to sign up in order to make sure that, we cover our basis and cover our costs, and we give them the experience that they're looking for with the application as well. So I digress, just had to go into that. Let's not do the code portion yet for setting up this, but I will tell our agent here to move on to the next step so that we can get that going at the same time. So I'm going to go to history here. Yeah, history. And let me close this. And you can open up your window as much as you want. I like to still look at the at some of the windows, especially the progress, so that I can see progress of the agent, how far it's getting through our application. But yeah, so we have this open up. What's the last thing it did? It was milestone 1. Let's say we're going to say, let's continue on to milestone 2, conversation creation and persistence. Okay, and this is basically making sure that we keep track of conversations and transcripts, and we get some placeholders and stuff like that. Start working on saving these recording completions and stuff like that. Okay, so while this is going, we have our agent working. This is the cool part about being able to multitask, right? We can now go back over here and we can start working on our subscription. So for our, the number one thing you do have to have done, you do need to go into, it's going to be either business. Yeah, under business, you're going to need to agree to do some editing magic here. Cut some of that stuff off. But you need to make sure you agree to whatever the agreement is down here. There's 2. The more important one is obviously the paid one. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to either create the subscriptions, or you're not going to be able to make the subscriptions work or test them. So over here under monetization, we'll be able to actually create our subscription groups. So before we do that real quick, I don't want to skip too far ahead. We do have one real quick thing to do. We go under the main prepare for submission. We're not actually submitting yet, but we're going to select the app because it has successfully, I told you it's going to take a while. Our app has successfully been pushed up at this point. So we can hit done after we select that version. There's missing compliance here. Our app does not, collect any information or anything like that. So we don't have to worry about that. We're just doing none. We're select this none mentioned above. We'll hit save. That's great. And then up top, we'll hit save as well. And from now on, we have this beautiful icon showing up in the section where we select our apps as well. Anyway, now that we have that taken care of, we can go down to subscriptions, create a new subscription. I think our subscription is going to be Pro for right now. It's just going to be Pro. And then we have 2 different sets of subscriptions that we can have. We have a reference name and a product name. And so I'm just going to double check what those should be again. Every time I think that I remember, like off the top of my head, I just don't remember. So here we'll do localization first, and here we'll also do pro. And we may choose a custom name here. Just because this is how things are going to show up for the user whenever they actually hit subscribe, and they get a little card pop up by Apple. Which is another convenient thing about developing a app on the Apple platform, is that it's very easy for users to check out. It's so smooth, and it's just so habitual for people to check out really easily on Apple devices. So it's just another one of those things. It's probably the reason why statistically, like, more people have the tendency to buy or subscribe in an actual app versus like on a website. It's not true for every single category, but it is very commonly true for basic applications. Especially ones that take advantage of like the hardware of the device, like we are taking advantage of that mic. So for the subscriptions here, we want to get a little clever, and we're going to hit subscription. And what we've got to do is we'll go ahead and do our monthly. Or we can do annually first, it doesn't matter. We'll do annual. And our annual price, let's do some quick calculation. Command space is one of my favorite things about using a Mac. I can say, okay, so since $9.99 times 12, that's $119.88. Typically, it's common practice to give a nice discount for subscribing for an entire year up front. I want to do a nice discount, and I'm going to go, it's going to be generous. I'm going to do $109. Yeah, I'll do 109 for this one. So 109, 119. Okay, no, actually I need to do, like, maybe if I'm doing this properly, the amount that I'm willing to, I'm thinking about the amount that I'm willing to eat, the amount of cost I'm willing to eat for a power user, basically, up front. And so I think that's going to be $119.99. And for the sake of ours, like, I do have that video linked in the description. So you can, I believe he goes over making trials, like trial period. So you could do like a trial period. Right here, you would be like 1 week trial or something like that. But I'm purely just going to stick to this. Now here in the product ID, you want to create a in programming we call it a snake case property name, essentially. And so since our app is called Combo IBO, I'll do CA underscore, and then it'll be 1 1, what did I do? 4 11499 underscore 1 year. And then if you had a 1 week trial or something like that, like a 7-day trial, you would do underscore 1 week or something like that. But mine's just gonna be this. And so this doesn't have to be like super, super, super unique, but this is a unique product ID so that you don't get your other products confused. And this is how the app in the Xcode project is going to identify the different products that it's going to be bringing up. And this is also how we're going to reference it over in RevenueCat as well. So we'll hit create, and then we can decide duration. This is going to be a 1 year plan. This is our annual one. Setup availability. I just do all for right now. Set up subscription prices. And this is where you actually select the price. See additional prices. So when you do see additional, it goes even more specific. Can I get my 114? 114.99. There it is. Okay, we'll hit next, next, and it auto translates what those costs should be up front for you. This is another really cool thing, just like super convenient things about, working on the Apple platform. Those features do exist on the other things as well, like I said, when you're using Stripe, but it's just all pretty nice and convenient. So now we add localization. This is what the user is going to see whenever they tap on the button to actually subscribe, like if they choose annual. And so let's see. So for this part, we're just going to end up putting all access because with our app, it's very simple. You either have no access or you have all access. I'm not sure about an in-between state just yet. I'm still debating whether or not we can make it so that if the user doesn't have any, let's say their subscription ran out, or maybe they decide to skip the subscription for some reason, they could still record their conversations and see their most common sentences and words that they like to use in the app, and maybe that would be that free bit, but we wouldn't actually show them the Japanese translation because we wouldn't want to ping the server, which will then be a cost for us. So but anyway, all that to say, the user will either have all access or not, so we're not worried about anything special here. We don't have to set anything other than this. But you would imagine if you had different types of products, different types of subscriptions, you might have a very different, description for your subscription. Description for your subscription. Okay, so we're gonna save this. Note one thing. I think no, it's not showing us. From my experience, it would not allow us to upload to the App Store, or it wouldn't allow us to get our subscription approved until we give a in-app screenshot of what it's going to look like. So we'll save this for a later date. Now we're just simply going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it for monthly. Monthly. And monthly, it's going to be $9.99. I think that's a nice, comfy price. And then our product is going to be the format we're doing. So I think I'm doing convo IBO, so CA underscore, and then 999. And then underscore 1 month. And that's the format that I'm using for these product IDs, just to help keep track of things. Okay, and so the duration for this one is 1 month, of course. And then we select the countries it's available in, all, and then subscription price. We can choose $9.99. Perfect. And then we know that we have all access. And then all access. And maybe we would come back and entertain adding some extra details here, depending on where this all access shows up. I may want to actually say, translation, features or something like that, in order to be as crystal clear to the user as possible on what this subscription is for. It just depends on where this all access will show up. And so we'll keep that in the back of our mind when we're actually testing our payment system, because we can test it without charging ourselves in a sandbox. So, okay, now that we have that going, I think we're almost good to go to Revenue Cat. We might be going to Revenue Cat. All right, so let's take a sip. And we can keep going. So now what we need to do, we need to start getting things aligned from our Apple account over to our revenue account, our Revenue Cat account. And so in order to accomplish that, we will need to develop something called a shared secret somewhere. Now, where is that? I want to say it's under maybe pricing. In-app purchases. Or is it back under subscription? Non-renewing subscriptions. Let's go back to Pro. We need a shared secret. Let's find out where the shared secret is. Used to be here in the monetization section. Let's go to app information. Let's go to the app itself. Not there. No. Okay. Let's see about other places where the shared secret could be located. Maybe users and access, integrations. Shared secret. Okay. If you haven't created a shared secret before, then there should be a bigger screen here. It's under integrations, under users and access, and you'll be able to generate a shared secret. You get that secret and you're going to copy it. I'm using some editing magic to keep that private, but let's see. you go over to RevenueCat. By now you should have already created an account. So you would log into your account, and then under projects, all projects, you should see a create new project. And when creating the new project, we would be able to put our information in about our project. So our project is called Convo Ido. Convo Ibo. It is a education app. And then we're going to stick to the native Apple platform. Having said that, another reason why RevenueCat is so helpful is, let's say instead of like me, I'm doing an iOS specific app, you're concerned about both Android and iOS. No matter what, even if you're not using React native to create a compatible app for both platforms, let's say you're doing Swift and you're using Xcode and everything like that for your iOS project, and you're using Android and everything like that for your Android app, RevenueCat is seamless. So you should be able to very easily get those product names and then channel them through here, and also monitor your customers and your monthly recurring revenue or yearly recurring revenue via this website as well. So this platform. So it's really, really great. Continue. Okay, so it's giving us some information on, an API key and whatnot, what to use here. What I'm going to do is keep I use text edit for a lot, command space text edit, and I'm just going to keep that over here. And I'm going to copy both of these things down for myself. You'll probably want to do the same. You'll want to be able to copy your API key. And the other thing you'll notice in here is the Swift package. That's something we need to do over in Xcode. And matter of fact, we'll do that here in a second. Use AI to integrate RevenueCat. Oh, interesting. Yeah, to integrate. Copy prompt. I like this. What is this prompt? Check entitlements, present, paywall. These are some good tips that it's giving right here. It's giving you some options, like some code here that you can just kind of apply into your project. We do have Cursor pretty much doing everything for us, so we don't have to worry too much. But the tips here, like being able to, this is basically how you're able to get RevenueCat, get access to your specific purchases in your app. You're going to download the extended code and attach it to your project basically as a package. And then you're going to use this key that they've provided from your account. And this key is going to give the app access to your products, your subscriptions that you've created, and give us the ability to like look them up and then interact with them as well. So yeah, just something to note there. So integration, it's just saying this is nice up here. This wasn't always here. I was responsible for having to like keep track of all these things, but it's kind of giving you like a step-by-step, make sure to do this, make sure to do that. I know there's a way to create paywalls inside of RevenueCat as well. I'm not going to be really messing around with that. Make your first purchase and all that. This is nice though. This is nice. Create real configuration. I'm going to take its link though here to add a, normally you need to go over to the side here and create a product under product catalog, but I just took its link there. And that took us over here because we haven't set up or established a relationship with our Apple account yet. So what we want to do is do that. What it needs us to do is put the bundle identifier in here. We can get that from our app. If I was cool, I would just type it in, but I'm just gonna triple click 3 times, Command C, Command V to paste. And then it's probably gonna have us put our shared secret and in-app purchase key configuration. We're not doing in-app purchases. We're doing just subscriptions, if that makes sense. In-app purchases would be a kind of a consumable thing, like if we wanted to sell credits or we wanted the user to pay per use or something like that. But that isn't the case, so I don't think that this is relevant. Let me see. Product file here, subscription key. Maybe it is. Use existing. Okay, so it actually does want us to go get this. Let me click learn more here and see exactly what it's talking about. So it wants us to go there and get that, but I don't think we have that for, let me check one of my other apps to see if it's actually there as well. Oh, Vault Hub Pro. Yeah, we do have it. Okay, so I stand corrected. In here, we're going to create a in-app purchase key, and we're going to do that with our name, which is Convo IBO, and then generate. Okay, and then we can download the in-app purchase key. We're going to download that. Perfect. And then we can head back over to RevenueCat and then we'll select it, upload it, and there we go. And then this user thing is needed. What is this user ID? Provide the user ID to RevenueCat. You get the user ID from integration. Okay. So that's the key that's at the top there. Up here, we have the user ID. We can go back in, paste that there. Very cool. And then an App Store Connect API key is required if you want to import products into RevenueCat, have product price change and stuff like that. Okay, first I'm going to save this. And then let me do the learn more here and see what it's talking about. Okay, so it's saying that in the users and access, there is this top one here, and I can basically add a new thing here. Okay. I think I see here. So I'm going to add a new product here. This is going to be, actually, I don't need to add a new role because like I have, like this is a one I'm already using. Upload App Store Connect API. Oh, okay. Okay, where do we get this? Step 1. Do all that in the App Store, and I think that I'm good from here. So we go to product category. Set standard, there's a default here, 3 packages. I wonder where this came from. Let me look at the default here. Products. Okay, so what we want to do after we've set up all of that is go in here under offerings, and we need to create a new offering. And the way that I understand this is these offerings are, you can have different specials that you can set up, and the app will dynamically listen for these specials. And an example for a special, especially in the video I have linked below, he talks about this, I think, at one point. But basically, you might want a Black Friday special, or maybe there's a big social media thing going on that you throw. This is where you can like create these new offers and change the pricing on the fly for a certain period of time. So because at any given time you're setting what your main offer is, and so right now I think we're just developing sort of the default offer. So let's see what that. Yeah, so since that is the case, I'm just going to set this as our default. And default offering. And then I think I can add, actually we'll hold off on adding a package to that just yet. We'll save here. Display, wait, what was it saying up top? There's a little notification. Let's do a main. Well, if we already have a default, let me see. Offerings. Oh, we do have a default. Okay. What's the default here? Okay, I don't think that this is accurate. I think Revenue Cat gave us some kind of template here. Revenue Cat test. Yeah, it gave us some tests here, but I don't have a lifetime one. We're only going to have a yearly one. And let me see here. New product, import product. Yeah, monthly. That's cool. So it has access to, because you see those names there, those product IDs, like we definitely created those together. So I'm importing that. Let's import the other one too. Yearly. Very cool. Missing metadata. Okay. Attach. Okay, so we had to attach these entitlements here. And the entitlement is just a general. Yeah, we can detach these because these are not real. I guess Revenue Cat was trying to give us some like default options here, but we're going to stick to what we know. Adding our own custom ones is perfectly fine. So now that they're here, I'm not sure there's much else we really need to do, actually. We have our product catalog. We have our default offering. Default offering has these. Why does it have a lifetime? Let's hit edit here. Let's get rid of that and save. Let me edit that again and let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so month and then year for this one. Yes, that's perfectly fine. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Much, much better. Okay. And so once again, you'll notice that this actual like very specific like product ID, that's how we know that this is working, is we're already getting these specific IDs from Apple. We've established a successful kind of connection between the two, which is great. Yeah, so I think we are well on our way here. I'm not sure there's much else that we need to do here. I think those were the big heavy hitting items. The missing metadata here concerns me. Action is needed from the developer before a product can be made available to user. Open App Store Connect. Oh, okay. So because the connection has been established, this is just further proof that the connection has been established. The missing metadata, it's not always clear. I've gotten stuck on this like 20 times. But all it's talking about with the missing metadata is that there's no screenshot here, and therefore it's not going to give us the ability to submit that subscription for review to the App Store. So that's just an important thing to note there. Aside from that, we're doing really good. We're making great progress. That's the main thing I wanted to accomplish there, was getting that whole backend piece connected and established so that, Apple and Revenue Cat are communicating with each other. When payments happen, it's nice and easy and smooth. It's the same as any other app that you've ever opened up and had to subscribe to. And we will test out those specific things in a bit. But a reminder, the reason why we didn't do it here is because we need to sit down and actually think about what the process is going to look like for the user. Are we going to present this paywall during the onboarding screen? What does the onboarding screen actually look like? What does it look like if the user actually skipped the onboarding screen? What does it look like to get back? Is it very natural? Does it make sense? We want the user to be like trying to translate, but then like, okay, they get hit with the paywall. Like, it's a very natural process to put together. So, but we need to establish that first before we get into the paywall. So I'm going to have it do milestone 3 as well. Before I do, let me just make sure, it's good practice to make sure that the app builds and runs successfully and we don't have any errors, which it did, which is fantastic. It just got done with another milestone. Let's hit record. Testing. I'm wondering if the app is going to work. Probably not. So we got a crash. Before we end this video, I really just want to find out where we left off in this process. So a quick way to do this, because even with these milestones here, it can be hard to know like what you should be expecting to be able to test. And remember, you are the manager and you are managing the agent. And so you're asking them probing questions and stuff like that to find out what, like how your product is being built and what your progress is. What we have is the user stories here. And this is going to be the crucial part for why we started making the user stories. The reason why is because we want to do something like this. We want to say, based on our progress so far in the, you can do @ and you can reference a specific file. I want to reference the progress file. That's where all of our check marks have been. So based on the progress so far in our progress language learning doc, what user stories should I be able to validate via our @ user stories doc, right? And then we hit return and see how that goes. And that's all. I just wanted to check our progress over here. So we have multiple things going on at the same time. That's the value here of being able to use AI on your side, is that you're not just dealing with code at certain points in time. Like there's probably going to be at least 1 or 2 moments where we need to look at the code, or at least it's helpful, in my opinion, to go look at the code. But, most of the time when you're building a professional product like this nowadays, this is more of the process. You're checking user stories, making sure that you're getting closer and closer to that minimum viable product that's ready and releasable. You're doing market research. You're doing research on, how things should show up. Next video, we're going to focus on researching where our paywall should go, how it should be presented, what type of bullet points we're going to show, as well as what should our onboarding look like. And then we need to go back over to our agent and have it integrated into our plan, our milestones plan, because it's really important. And we'll cross-reference that with the product requirements doc, because we have a product requirements doc here that tells us what important things we need to hit on for our product to be complete. So let's just see what it spit out here real quick, and then I'll end this video, and then we'll get that other one up as soon as possible. So let's see what you've got here. So my question was, based on the progress so far, what user stories will we expect to be able to validate? Okay, so based on milestone 0, 1, and 2 complete, here's what you can test. We can test recording and transcription, fully testable. As a user, I want to see a recording screen by default. And then, okay. Sorry, my eyes went further than I was reading. No blocking models. As a user, I want to tap record once. This doesn't work, actually. And I think it's even elapsed time counter. So we got a crash when we try to do this. So tap record once, microphone permissions. This works. Record starts immediately after permissions. Tab switching. Okay, all that works. Stop doesn't work. Okay. Because when we tapped on it again, when we tapped on okay. So what I would end up saying is tapping record, because that's what's happening right now. Every time I go in here and I tap record, it crashes. So tapping record causes a crash. And so what we would want to do is go over to our console here inside of Xcode and see what the cause of the crash was. Looks like we have sort of a cryptic message here, but maybe our cursor agent will understand what's going on. I like to take the whole thing if possible. I know that these things are big. So back in the day, I would have to like sift through this and like, look through each one. Fortunately, I have experience going through them. So if it really came down to it, I could, read some of these messages here and determine what our problem is. Now there's a printout in our code somewhere that does this: audio session configured. And if I Command Shift F in the project, I can locate that line of code where we actually call that. And so I know that configuring the audio session is succeeding, because if it didn't, we would catch it and we would be showing this error instead. So the issue is clearly after this. So I can even kind of include that in my message here. After tapping record causes a crash, sometime after this method is called successfully. Just to help it out a little bit, because that means we could probably they could probably pay attention more to what's happening after this point, even though I'm going to give it everything that's here. So later on, if we come across more issues, or as we come across more issues, I'm probably going to show you some other techniques, like taking big chunks of like logs like this, putting it into a text file, and then dragging it over so that it can look at the text file, because putting all of it into a prompt sometimes is not ideal. But I'm pasting it here, hitting return, and then seeing what it says about that. Ooh, my coffee got cold. So, shameless plug while this is going. If you've been watching this whole video and you've been, going through this process, and you want to support the channel, just hit the like button. That's the easiest way. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Feel free to ask a question or anything like that. Another way you could really support the channel is by taking the link that's pinned in the pinned comment or in the description, and going to get the example files and prompts that I include, like that I've created in order to accomplish this. Go there, buy those. That helps out this channel so I can continue to do more and more things like this. My goal is to continue to make the process easier. So whatever things we can like speed up, I'll do that. But those prompts and those doc examples that you can buy, that's a result of my 8, 9, 10 years of experience, as well as like, really the last year of like building apps and stuff like that with AI specifically, and all the things I've learned to help us be able to put things on autopilot as often as possible, like we just did there. We were able to have a cup of coffee while, or take a sip of coffee while, debugging or having you know, our AI agent go off and make progress, right? And we're getting check marks and stuff like that. Like it's just fantastic. Yeah, here. It's just fantastic. So, you know, I think that the value there is really strong. So yeah, support the channel, go and get those, like these videos, and share them. If there's anyone else on the journey to building apps, and maybe there's something in here that would be helpful, like share it. That will help the channel out so much. So I'll try to run this one more time, and then I swear I'm gonna end this video. We are over 2 hours, and then I'll take a small break for myself and then continue, and we'll get that next video up ASAP. I'm trying not to let a day or two go by before you know, getting to the next spot, just in case someone's building their own app and, you know, kind of following along a little bit. Input, remove tab. Oh, yep. So here, there was a little error there. I'm just gonna paste that over from the side. I see this is where we're starting to capture the audio. This is a do try catch here. This code pattern is really common in Swift, where we try to do something, and if it doesn't work, we end up throwing an error. And so just like a little side note there, educate where I can. Okay, let's go back over here, run. See if that did the trick. Let's show our app. And let's hit record. Testing, testing, testing. I'm testing that this is working. Oh, so no, still not working. I will make sure to include the troubleshooting of this in our next video, so that you can see what I did to get past this area. I don't want to skip over anything. So if I'm not recording, I'm not making progress. So don't worry about me like skipping ahead or anything like that. Like, we're doing everything together. This whole time, everything has been not scripted. I've had some bullet points and I've had like some little like notes up and stuff like that. But like, you know, I'm hoping that that's the value you get from my channel and my videos versus like someone else's, which once again, I'm not saying that's bad, you know, but there are a lot of videos out there that are doing the 20-minute, like, this is how you build something. And that may be good for your ADHD or whatever, but it may not be good for like, you know, your moments where you really are like digging deep and you're trying to figure out what to do. Or maybe just being able to see this perspective. So anyway, I've talked a lot. My coffee is cold. I'm gonna get some warm coffee. I really appreciate you watching these videos and helping me grow this channel so that I can continue to do this stuff, because it's really fun. Yeah, have a good one.